Thought you. All right, guys, we are live. We are live on the Woods Report. We are talking about Judge Ketanji, right?
Being sworn in
the
today.
First African American female sworn in on the highest court, the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Historic moment. Right? Because this is the first time that we've actually seen a woman...
Brown Jackson.
Right. The first time that we've seen an African-American female in this position. Historic in the fact that, is she now a role model? Because the fact that there's a lot of black kids that can look at her and say, I can aspire to be at that level that she's in.
Like they did Obama.
Right. So I'm going to get on it. We're going to talk about a touchy situation because I'm going to bring in Clarence Thomas on this. And I know when you talk about Clarence Thomas, a lot of black people go, don't talk about Clarence Thomas. No, we're going to talk about Clarence Thomas. Because it's a lot about Clarence Thomas and a lot about his life and his history and a lot of things that I don't think a lot of people know about the history of Clarence Thomas. Touch a little bit on Anita Hill. Touch on how the Judiciary Committee did Clarence Thomas. And the direction they went when he was being drilled.
I think what added on to him was that situation with
Anita Hill.
And if it was no Anita Hill situation,
how did
just do the same question?
And how did that come about? The whole Anita Hill thing. So it's very interesting when you go back and research and look at all of this. So first, let's talk about Ketanji, right? Judge Ketanji.
Supreme Court Judge.
Supreme Court Judge Ketanji. She, I felt, never played the race card. She was very clear, very direct. She stuck to the law.
She's consistent.
She was consistent. She, if you're going to ask me questions, let's talk about my rulings. Let's talk about things I ruled on. And those I feel are things that you should ask her about.
Right, because they're the highest court level.
Exactly.
You want to know where their minds are.
If you're soft, because she, from her record, showing a consistency soft on the conviction, how many years she would give people who committed child pornography.
Certain crimes.
Why would she go under the penalty amount? Give us your answer on why that.
Cases, they gave certain cases and
so
brought
to
them
me,
up.
I didn't feel like any of that was racist. I didn't feel like any of that was. I felt like that was the right for people to ask her about her past.
Well, you know what? I'm here to say to go on the other side as well, because it was a controversy with some of the Republicans and some of the questions they were asking, really stupid.
What is a woman and all this?
But
stuff.
I do see. Okay, let's just say, for sake of argument, okay, go ahead and say that. How did she come back in her answers to it?
Exactly.
And we kind of know where Lindsay was going with when he asked about the woman.
Right.
Because with the whole thing with transgender, and they want to get a feel where her head is at, but they have to still be careful. Don't try to think ahead like how you're thinking she's going to think a certain way, because the judges have to go by the law.
Right.
Now, when we get in a situation where the rape, is it Roe v. versus Ray?
Roe versus Wade.
Roe versus Ray, Wade, I'm sorry. They're going to overturn. If they overturn that, then that's where it gets kind of like, oh Lord, she's pro-life, she's pro-choice.
Right.
How do you flow? But she answered even the silliest questions.
Right.
Really
but to me, the issue that I have is, and this is where I come in with the Clarence Thomas thing. I don't think a lot of black people know about the history of Clarence Thomas.
What do you mean?
I think black people have.
Is it something we don't know that would change our minds?
I think black people, when you say Clarence Thomas, have been conditioned to say, "Oh, Uncle Tom," or he a coon, or he don't. And it's like, do you really know the history of Clarence Thomas? So I went and I said, okay, let me look at his biography and look a little bit. Let me see the history. So I didn't know. First of all, he was poor. He grew up. He didn't have any food. He was home. He didn't have anything. And he was raised by his grandmother's grandfather.
Okay.
And
so not his parents.
No, and they were religious.
Ooh. Okay.
And so
which pushes him really.
And this all frames of how he is and why he, I think, thinks the way he does now.
Okay.
And so he wanted to please them.
Oh. Okay.
Then he went off and he went to school. And when he went to school, there was a black movement at his school.
Ooh.
And he headed it up.
Uh-oh.
A lot of people don't know that he started the Black Student Union on campus.
What year was he in school?
I don't know, Lenora.
Because that makes a difference. You say I keep butting in asking the question. Wouldn't that be
the 60s?
Thank you, because that's a very important
All
question.
right, okay, the 60s and the 70s.
Okay.
All right. So he went to school and he started the Black Student Union.
Wow.
He was very, what they call, quote unquote, a militant black man.
Really?
Okay, yes, very militant. Clarence Thomas. He invited a Black Panther to come speak to their school.
Oh my.
He was hooked up with the Black Panthers.
Oh no, Kim, for real.
I'm not lying. Y'all need to go and study the history of Clarence Thomas. And a fight broke out at the school.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people got hurt. And he felt like he was responsible for it.
Wow.
He felt like he was trying to get justice for black people, but that the way that it was going about was not the way that he wanted it to go. He didn't want people to get hurt. Well, he went back home.
Okay. Where's his home? South?
In the South, Georgia, I believe. Okay. He went back home with his grandparents, and he gave his life over to Jesus.
Oh, he became a Christian.
Okay,
got it.
And he told God, if you can take this anger out of me.
I was going to say, he would seem like he was angry.
He said, if you can take this, if you can deliver me from this anger, I promise you that I will serve you for the rest of my life, whatever.
Got it.
And that made his grandparents proud, okay? Then you say he went to like Harvard, different schools, different white schools. He was the only black person in his class.
Okay.
Was not accepted. Racism, they saw him as a black man. They thought he wasn't intelligent. They thought he could never be in the position that they were going to be in. And so he felt racism. He experienced racism firsthand.
Okay.
And he met his wife.
Where?
A long time ago.
Ooh.
1986 or something like that. No, out.
Okay.
His grandparents had just passed away, and he said he felt alone. And he said he felt he met his wife, and her family became his family.
The chick he with now.
Yeah, they embraced him. And he said he just loved that. They embraced him. She is his everything.
Okay.
That plays a role into what's going on now.
I see that seed was planted.
Because if you have a woman that met you at your lowest point, where your parents are dead, you have no connection to anything, she comes into your life, you love her, she loves you, her family becomes your family, then that's it.
Yeah.
That's your wife.
Yeah. He's entrusted in her. He's committed to her. That's a hard one because it's now causing problems.
Well, okay. So hold on. Which gives us reason why she feels beholden to do the things that she does because she's so embedded in his life.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. They're two together. They're locked in.
But I mean, there comes a time when we're with our spouse, our significant others.
But
we have to be careful.
I say all this to say he was they have kids, right? Nominated by President Bush.
Okay. The father or the son?
The father.
Okay.
1991.
Okay.
And he was Republican, honestly.
Well, yeah.
He never said he was Republican. None of them ever say what they are. But you could kind of tell.
Because they're really not supposed to, right?
You're not supposed to be.
They kind of watch how they rule and their values. And that's why they was trying to get with Ketanji.
Who's nominating you?
Are you pro-choice?
Okay.
You pro-life?
So Bush nominated him, and right there, the Democrats were like, no. It's party driven.
Yeah.
Okay? And from that point on, they decided, the Judiciary Committee, which was headed by Joe Biden at the time, We need to find something on this guy. And in walks Anita Hill.
Wow. So they dug up his past in the situation.
So according to what we were looking at, it was already looked upon by the FBI, which, come on, we all know that's a bunch of men.
I know.
And Clarence Thomas' issue was that it was brought, this whole Anita Hill thing was brought in front of the Judiciary Committee on national television to, in his words, lynch an uppity Negro. He felt like they were trying to put him in his place because he was a black man who was trying to become a Supreme Court justice. And so he felt they were trying to lynch him and come at him because he was a black man.
So he probably didn't take it. He didn't think that what had happened in that situation with him and Anita was that serious.
But isn't it interesting that when they came at him, he played the race card. And when they came at Ketanji, she never played the race card. She never said, you guys are coming at me because I'm a black woman or because I'm a woman or any of that. She never said that.
Okay.
So I find that interesting that Clarence Thomas played the black card. A conservative played the black card.
What you're saying, how his past was.
Right.
He probably going back to that angry black man that you think that would play the race card. You picking on me because I'm black.
And you listen to him talk.
Think about if his history was the Black Panthers and rising up and doing a march, you would say, why y'all messing with me because I'm black?
And
right?
look at the two extremes. And what I thought was interesting with him, whenever somebody comes and they tell a story, two people have two different sides of the story, because pretty much Anita Hill was like, he sexually harassed me, and he said he didn't. Both of them convincingly enough have said their case.
He say, she say.
He say, she say. Versus whether you believe Clarence Thomas or whether you believe Anita Hill.
Right.
When it's a case like that, I look at who has more to lose, who has more to gain. That's how I look at it.
And who's more believable.
I felt like Anita Hill is more believable. I still do. And I still feel like...
because it was a he say, she say.
But I still felt like he lied. But this brings me to our point.
Did she have any witnesses?
But this brings me to my point of why I want to do this video. Even though we feel like he lied, does that really matter with being a Supreme Court judge, or does it matter more how he judges? How he judges. Because if we look at people's lives individually, a lot of those people would be sat down.
Joy on The View, she made that comment of, and she and Sonny had a really good discussion about separating the person's talent, gift, whatever, from their what did she say? Like what they've done. I don't know how would you categorize that, but it's kind of like Clinton or people who have
exactly like Bill Clinton. People can love Bill Clinton. He was getting you know what's in the white in the
separating his actions from his craft. His
if
gift.
you found out Martin Luther King cheated on his wife, which has been so many cases where it's been proven. Does that matter? Does that matter that he was a lousy husband or that he was a good civil rights leader?
Some people may look at it that it matters as far as him being called reverend and walking in that past. If he wasn't actually a pastor, but for that part of it. But in a sense, it still doesn't matter because God is actually the judge. So if he's still doing what Moses wasn't a good,
look
Moses
at the Bible.
had problems and God still called him to lead.
David had Bathsheba's husband killed.
Right. Now, how many men out there are having the wife's husband taken out? But David was a man after God's own heart. God still had a calling on his life in spite of the messiness.
Right.
So
that's the question.
We look at it differently. Messy, sit him down.
So even if let's say I feel like he's a liar, he sexually harassed her, he's lying, he has more to lose. So he's not going to come out and say, yeah, I sexually harassed her. No. He'll lose his wife. He'll lose his family. He'll
Right.
lose
He'll go to
everything.
jail, maybe.
He'll go to jail. So I expect him to lie. I don't expect him to tell the truth.
Right. Maybe. Yeah.
He has more to lose.
Uh-huh.
But is he a good judge?
Mm.
Was he given the opportunity when he went in front of that board on his record and his merit as a judge?
I think
the answer is no.
I think too.
The whole thing was about Anita
this.
Hill.
But think about this too. That's a gray area depending on what he's overseeing. Because people that lack integrity, when you lie,
okay,
right there, you lack integrity.
But
so you can lie in other ways and sneak around laws and find loopholes because you are lying.
That's true.
So, I mean, I don't know.
But are we assuming, see, it's a good one, y'all. Are we assuming that because somebody lies, they can't still do their job?
It depends on what their job is. If their job is considered where truth is involved.
Like, right, exactly. Like, okay, if you're a police officer and you're a liar.
A doctor that lies that said he cheated on his wife. Oh, no, because on the table operating.
Is he a good doctor? Is he a good surgeon? He could be a lousy husband. I don't care if he lies to his wife. I don't care if he got 16 mistresses.
Right.
How is he when I get on that table?
Good doctor.
If he's a good doctor.
Yes, he is.
If I'm a police officer.
Oh, okay.
And I lie.
Well, you're getting in a little area now because you're not.
Does it matter? Because I may be called to testify, and if I'm a liar.
Yeah. See?
If I'm a janitor and I lie.
Yeah, it don't matter unless you stole something. Did you sweep that up? No, I didn't sweep it up.
So
it don't matter.
So when it comes to a Supreme Court justice,
yes,
does it matter? Hold on, because you could be proving the Republicans' point.
Ooh.
Does it matter
what
about all these little insignificant things that we call insignificant and questions that they was going down this road that have nothing to do with how she judged things or her record?
For sake of argument, let's just say Clarence Thomas was found. They found evidence that he did do what Anita Hill said he did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right there, he's wiped out. He probably can't move any forward.
He wouldn't be able to move any forward.
Look at our past president.
Oh, well, that's just...
Women are coming forward like they did with Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
He did this. He touched me this way. He talked to me this way. And he kind of flew all over that. They can't kind of pin it on him. They got to almost have pictures of him doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So the accusations.
But does that matter?
Lie from that.
Being a lousy husband, does that matter about being the president?
It depends on.
Then you got to throw Bill Clinton out with the water in. You got to throw him. You got to throw any other
Bill
president.
Didn't lie. He did
lie. I did not have sexual relations with Monica, with that woman.
He didn't have sexual relations.
That is sexual relations.
You know what he was trying to say.
No, he lied.
Didn't have intercourse.
He lied. He said sexual relations.
He went around it like most people who have lack of integrity.
He lied. But does that mean that you don't like Bill Clinton as president? Bottom line is he lied. He had more to lose. I keep trying to tell y'all.
Mm-hmm. Well,
look at what the person has. Right, but look at what the person has. Look at what the person has to lose. I expect you to lie. It's like women who your husband, you find out you cheating. You pull the phone up. What's this? I see this text from this woman. Who is this woman? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know this woman. I don't know this
And
woman.
if I was a man, I would deny, unless you caught me in the bed, pants down, in the bed with her. I would say she lying.
To me,
because I got more to lose.
It just goes back to me as the lack of integrity, depending on that position, their job, and what their role is. They're doing their job, but they have no integrity.
Okay, so then that brings us to the next point. Integrity, is that more for that person being a role model versus what that person does for a living? We think of basketball players and we say you're a role model.
They are probably still.
Why is a basketball player a role model?
They can still be a role model even with lack of integrity, because the people are probably looking at them for their skills.
Exactly.
How well they move. Michael Jordan, he's had some problems gambling and everything. But they love Michael Jordan.
So
it's
a role
like,
model.
It's almost like if there's something good that they've done or who they're about, that overshadows the negative.
So
them.
role model, a person can be a role model in certain parts of their life, but it doesn't have to be every part of their life.
Right.
You can admire Michael Jordan's skill level. And as a young basketball player or a guy who's aspiring to be in basketball, he could be a role model for you in basketball. It doesn't mean that his life has to be your role model.
Well, yeah, that's true. If you separate it, yeah.
But on the same token, most people don't separate things like that.
No.
We see what's happening, like you said, with Bill Cosby. People cancel culture. I'm not going to watch the Cosby Show no more. What does the Cosby Show have to do with Bill Cosby? And you see what I'm saying?
Right.
People throw the baby out. They throw the baby out with the bathwater. Now, in knowing that that's the type of society that we live in, the type of culture that we live
Cancel
in,
culture.
Are you required to be more of a role model in all areas of your life when you assume these positions?
A lot of people, there are people who have made comments about not wanting to be a role model. I know it's something they can't help. Like I've heard some athletes say, I don't want to be no role model.
But
because
you are.
There's a lot of accountability.
But you are.
But they have to understand if they're known, if they're famous for whatever reason, music, sports, politics. They're seen. People see them and they want to emulate them. They want to copy them. They love something about them. I want to be like him. Or even in the negative, how many women he got, how many cars he got. They want to mirror that. So it's
Are you
they
responsible
can do about
for that though? Like for instance, let's say Obama.
Yeah.
Obama was president. First African American president.
Yeah.
He knew in being in that position, he was not only going to be a role model for young black kids to aspire to be president, but he knew that his life had to be a certain type of way and his family had to be a certain type of way. Is that fair? We can say no, but that's a
lot of pressure.
But that's how society
he
does
was transparent on his smoking. He smoked. He had a problem.
He had to give up smoking.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know, and I know y'all don't like to hear this, the Obama people. Obama used to date white women.
Yeah,
and somebody came to him and told him, if you ever want to be president of the United States, you cannot. I don't even know how much I can tell you. You cannot be married to a white woman.
He wouldn't be received.
You would not become the first black man to be the president of the United States if you are married to a white woman.
And some people think differently of that
and he made a conscious decision to date black women.
Well, we don't. Hey.
That's not saying he doesn't love Michelle. That doesn't say he's not attracted to Michelle. That doesn't say that he didn't want to be with Michelle. But he made a conscious decision based on what others told him and what direction he should change and move his life.
You heard this how?
That's in his story.
In his book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Well, he didn't say those words.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he didn't say I made a conscious decision to date black women.
I can't date white women anymore.
No, but he
I want to
knew
move forward, and I want everyone to support me and vote for me.
Right.
Even the black people for sure.
Right.
Because if I walk in there with anyone other than Michelle Obama.
And let's be honest with you. A lot of black people did vote for him because he was married to a black woman.
Yeah, and not because of his skills or his knowledge and his background.
If you ask a lot of, I'm not saying all black people, but if you ask a lot of black people, what bills did Obama have passed while he was president? What did Obama stand on when he was running for president? I bet you a lot of them say, I don't know. I don't care. He's the first black man, and I'm standing in line to vote for him. I don't have a record on this. Don't know any statistics. I'm just going by what I think. I could be totally wrong, but for some reason, I think I'm right.
They was even saying that he was the one president that sent more people back across the border.
He sent more people over the border than Trump did. And Trump is like, y'all hate me. Y'all calling me racist.
Right. But the thing with Ketanji, though, they couldn't use any of that on her because her skills, her background, it was all she was high. Her background was higher than the last two that came in.
I just felt like she handled herself excellent.
They was waiting for her to jerk her neck like this.
They was waiting on her.
What you trying to say? Exactly. What a woman is? You should know what a woman is.
I thought she handled herself brilliantly. I felt like, again, I said the same thing with the Clarence Thomas. I don't think she ever played the race card, and she never played the female card. Clarence Thomas did.
Well, he was under investigation. Of course, he's going to find something to get out.
That's true.
She
wasn't being accused of being a criminal. Would she probably have used it if they were saying that she did something criminal?
You never know.
We don't know.
Right. You coming at me because I'm the only black woman that has the possibility of being in this position?
Yeah.
So that helped him get out.
Yeah.
Because they did come at him for a sexual, problem that had happened.
So I just thought that was very interesting.
And then the touch on role models.
And what is a role model? Is a person expected to be a role model in all areas of their lives, or just in whatever it is that they do?
But see, when you say expected to be, that's the problem that a lot of people
That's
come back
the question.
and say, why do I have to be a role model? They have to understand that they are. Whether family members will tell them differently, your dad should be your role model.
Is that because, do we think that that's because that's how God designed it? Because God said too much is given, much is required.
That's
so
the platform that they have.
Do we assume that God says men are like sheep, so they're going to follow you? So because you are in a position of leadership and people just blindly follow people, I'm going to require more from you than I do from all of those people that are following you. You may not like it, but that comes with being in that role.
I don't know.
And when the judgment comes down, it comes down harder on you.
But then you're talking about people that
the higher you go, the harder it is when you fall.
I don't think the judge. I'm thinking we have to be careful because
that word is for saved
his people, God's people who have accepted Him as.
But that's not true because if you think about it in the Bible,
a whole different.
That's not true because look in the Bible. Look at Saul. I wouldn't call Saul a man that was for God.
God allowed Saul to be king. Yeah,
he was in a leadership position.
Yeah, but when you are comparing apples to oranges. When you talk about God's people, God's sheep, God who He's speaking to, who's listening.
I feel like all men are God's sheep.
No, I don't know. That can be debated. I don't think we're all
of God's children.
If you're
we all God's
man
children.
a sheep, I guess if He's saying every mankind is sheep.
I don't see God as saying a different because you
said
say
my sheep should know my voice, and we know that He's our shepherd.
That's true.
He's our chief shepherd. We're following His voice, not another. So why would you put that on a Michael Jordan who may not know who God is?
That is true because He says, "Follow me as I follow Christ."
And He said, "My sheep know my voice,"
which makes sense for Him to say. You see, working out stuff. Which makes sense for Him to say, "Too much is given, much is required." Right. Because if you are a leader that I put you in that position, and you're following me, and you break off from what I'm telling you, those people think you following me.
Yes.
So when you go off of a cliff, they gonna follow you because they think God told me to go off a cliff.
Look at the Jim Jones story.
Very good, very good, very good. That's a good. You're good. You're smart. That boy good.
You know
that boy good. That boy good.
That's my favorite part too. I love that part.
That boy is good. That's a good one, Lenore. You're good.
Chocolate.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Help me think of it. I never thought of it that way.
Okay.
That's true. If you're not a person that's of God and you ain't hearing from God. I feel like I don't care. I don't have to be your role model.
If I mess up, so what? You watching me. You watching me mess up.
Ain't nobody told you to follow me.
Thank you. And that's what some athletes have said. They don't like being a role model, even though they are, some of them. But hey.
That's true.
So you fall in the ditch, it's on you.
Okay. So that's our take on what's going on today. Ketanji, we're very excited about that.
Yes.
Are we excited the fact that Clarence Thomas is still on the Supreme Court board? There's two African Americans.
The only concern that I have with Clarence Thomas is his wife. That's the main concern.
I told you the background of that. It will never be broken.
It
will never be broken.
They talked about her on The View.
It will never be broken.
One of President
She's his life.
One of President Trump's past what's her position? I can't remember when she press secretary. She said they will see her going into the office with Trump a lot of times, having lunch, talking with him. She comes in with a list of who to fire, who to hire. She has a lot of control.
It will never be broken. I told y'all the history of that. He was raised by his grandparents.
They all even got together.
His grandparents died.
So you can only pray.
He was alone.
Prayer would break that up.
He was alone. He had no family. He had nowhere to go. And he met his wife.
Wow.
His current wife. And she embraced him. Her family embraced him. Mm-hmm. He will do anything in the world for them. Mm-hmm. He says it in his documentary. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Wow. And that's why he won't recuse himself. Then.
He ain't going to do nothing. If she tell him to, he will.
Oh, honey, sit down. Okay, whatever you say.
Is that where we get sit down Clarence from?
No, but his character name is Clarence.
No, when you always hear people, that the woman that's yelling at the man. Sit down, Clarence.
You know what?
Is that where we get that from?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think that comes from Eddie Murphy's movie when the grandmother said, Clarence, you going to walk back? You come here. What is she? The grandmother.
Oh, Clarence. Yes, that's it. Okay.
That's wrong. You thinking of this Clarence.
Like he gonna do what she tell him to do.
Right.
Nothing else.
She controls.
If she tell him to sit down, he'll sit down. So, all right, y'all. So that was our take on everything. Did you have anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right, guys. So thank you. Don't forget, follow us on YouTube. The link is in the description. Like our videos and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get us up to 1,000 people. We getting there. Okay. Thank you. And that was another Woods Report. All right.